Notice I've already said during a few of my main weathers a little bit earlier that because of our storm last year, some changes have been made. So I don't know if you want to get into that right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious what someone like me, what can we expect? What are these changes?
You know, the easy answer to most of this is going to be most everybody isn't going to notice a whole lot in the way of change. So what I just pointed out here for you, though, was that what's going to happen is that the wording slightly changed. The National Hurricane Center, National Weather Service, this is all umbrellaed under our federal government, obviously, right? NOAA, NOAA. So they have specific guidelines, just like the military is going to have. You need to follow everything to the T. Cross the T's, dot the I's. We've got this situation, we've got to do it. We've got to put out a certain warning here and there. So before, hurricane warnings, tropical storm warnings, and watches and all of the sense, they would only happen if there was a hurricane, tropical storm, officially when that happened.
Okay.
In this case, which is what's going on right now, so that's why we're talking.
Right.
Our current storm is no longer tropical of nature. Now, if we go into the scientific reasoning for it, it's not a warm core structure, we call it, just the nature of the storm. It's now become almost an ordinary average storm. Before, they would have dropped everything. You would no longer have any tropical storm warnings.
So this sounds to me like we're going to end up having fewer warnings and watches unless, no, because...
Well, it's going to be just the opposite.
Okay.
In this case, that we would have dropped everything, so what's going on right now, and I actually have some weather graphics to show you with this going on right now, but this is a tropical storm, what it would look like in our weather graphic. I'll get beyond my 7-day forecast here in a second, but I'm going to put on, this is the symbol for a tropical storm when it's going to be warned for you right over where it says determining watches and warnings. That's what looks like a tropical storm. This is what I would draw for you, just an area of low pressure of what we've got right now. And this is, again, right now. There you see it. See with the latest updates from the National Hurricane Center. They've said it's not tropical anymore. However, look at this next graphic behind it. There is still a tropical storm warning. For
one more question.
To go back to what you said, though, will there be fewer or more? There will actually be, depending on the situations, maybe more warnings and watches because we won't drop them like we once did.
Do you feel, though, that people will then start ignoring the advisories? That's the big question because you see them coming up so often.
That's the other side. People have been wondering this for years in the way of even tornado warnings. And even here, I mean, well, we got a tornado warning, but there's really no tornado. Kind of goes in line with that thinking. Most people in our information age nowadays, you're going to go to an alternate source. If you hear a warning, most likely we'll be here on News Channel. We'll say, you know what, maybe this situation, it's not that huge of an event. It doesn't look like it's an inundating storm. Like this one, oh, it's a rainstorm. Don't prepare for the worst.
Okay.
But what we'd hope for, if there is going to be a situation like Sandy, that was the problem. Last year, we still had big time, potentially devastating winds, hurricane force winds. They dropped all the warnings.
Yep.
That's where the changes came across. So most likely you're not going to notice a whole lot, but it will be there in place for our graphic systems next time around that we won't drop and say, well, where did all the warnings go? There should still be warnings out. It could be threatening to you. Those are the main changes.
Very interesting. A lot of great information.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Devon. We're going to be back in just a few minutes with more news.